Good morning, class. Thank you for joining our visual programming lesson. This is a strand in Pretechnical Studies, grade 8. I want to believe that we have now settled. We have taken 5 minutes to settle. And I request that anyone else who will be joining the class, they will join silently so that we don't take much time and complete as required. Now, for our lesson today, we are expected to finish at 10:25, but because we have taken, I think, much time to settle down, we might finish at 10:30. I wish to give a few instructions before we start the lesson. First and foremost, allow me to welcome all the schools that I can see on my dashboard: the Chania, Chemichemi, Kinamba Comprehensive, Kiptenden Comprehensive, Morop. I had also seen a Metropolitan. Kindly feel welcome. And if I have not mentioned your school, when we start the lesson, please let your kids participate. And by the time they are participating, they'll be telling us the schools they are coming from. Then we can move on like that. So feel very much welcome. Now, the instructions that we need to give to the students is that this is a normal classroom, but happening online. So we are going to maintain the same discipline we maintain during the normal sessions in class. By that, I mean we need to remain silent when we are supposed to be silent, and we need to engage or discuss when the teacher requests us to do discussion. Also, students, ensure that you have your Pretechnical Studies exercise book, because you will need to write some notes, some short points. So ensure that you have your book, you have your pen with you, so that you write those important points. They will help you to recap or revise the lesson. I want to request this one from the teachers. Help me to ensure that the mics are muted. We have a scenario where some kids are in control of their own devices. Maybe they are using the DLP devices, the tablets. Some of them keep on muting and unmuting, and also opening the cameras. That one is disrupting the classes. Let us ensure that the mics are muted and only opened when we need contribution from the learners. I will also encourage that the cameras be closed so that we can all concentrate on the topic of the day. So I'm looking for active participation from all of us. This is not a one-man show. It is your lesson, and therefore we want to see our students participating actively. The session is being recorded, so for the schools that will not be able to join us today, they will still be able to access the recording after the lesson. Now over to the lesson. Last week, we introduced the strand visual programming. I felt the urge of jumping into this strand after getting numerous requests from the teachers and the students that they needed some facilitation on the same. And that is why I picked on this strand, so that we are able to assist our learners. Now, last week we did introduction to visual programming, and even today, it's a continuation of the same. So for those learners who are with me in the last session, I would like us to take some 2 or 3 minutes to do a recap, to quickly move very fast and look at what we learned. Maybe before I take you through the slides very fast, just to remind you or to remind us, let me open this opportunity to the students in the room, those ones who are following the lesson. What did you catch during the last lesson? Tell me any word, any sentence, anything that you'd like to tell us that you can remember in the past lesson when we introduced visual programming. So I'm giving this opportunity to the students. Take some few minutes, discuss with your friend, try to remember, consult your notes if you have them, and then raise up your hand, and the hand will be raised in the platform, not in the class. I cannot see you. But if you put your hand up in this platform, I'll see the hands that are raised. And then we want to hear from you. What do you remember? Is there anything that you can remember about visual programming? What did we say? So discuss. The teachers will help you to raise your hand here so that I can see you. And then we give you the opportunity to contribute. 2 minutes, discuss 2 minutes. It's now 10:01. I'll be taking the contributions at 2 minutes past 10. So discuss. It's time now. Let me get any contribution from the schools. What do you recall? What do you remember? What did we learn about visual programming? Anything that you can remember? Now, if schools don't volunteer, I'm going to volunteer them. And the first school to volunteer will be Colifa. Colifa Comprehensive. I want to volunteer you to answer this question. If the students were not in this lesson, please let me know. Colifa Comprehensive, unmute.
We just joined. Maybe some few minutes we catch up.
Okay, so Colifa, we are just recapping. We are trying to remember what we learned last week. I just want anything that the kids can remember, be it a word, be it a sentence. What do they remember about visual programming? Anything that they can remember? Okay, Chemi. I volunteered Chemi, comprehensive. All right, we have a savior, Morop. Morop wants to save us from this session. We are recapping. Morop, kindly unmute and tell us what you can remember. Tell us everything you can remember. We are now moving away from that. Morop, we cannot hear you, but your mic is unmuted. Please speak.
And you start with your name and the school.
My name is Anne.
Hello, Bushnell.
Yes, I can hear Anne.
I'm from Colifa Comprehensive School.
Yes.
Last week, we learned about visual programming.
Anything, Anne, that you can remember we said about visual programming? anything any word we mentioned?
Types of visual programming.
Wonderful, wonderful. We talked about that. Anything else, Anne, that is in your notes?
Block-based programming.
Yes.
Flowchart-based programming.
Perfect.
Drag and drop apps builders.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much, Anne from Qualify Comprehensive. I think now we can move on. So the students maybe who have joined us today, very fast, so that we can bring you to speed. We actually gave a definition of what visual programming is, and we said that it's a way of creating computer programs using pictures, blocks, or diagrams instead of typing long lines of codes. And we discovered that in the past, when people were typing the long lines of codes, it was quite maybe complex, difficult to understand. But now when you are coding using your eyes, just seeing, it becomes pretty easy. And we gave some examples of the blocks that are normally in use. Physical blocks, we gave examples of Lego blocks, and these ones are the ones you can see here. Kids normally make items using these blocks. Now, when you go to the online, in the visual programming, you are represented with similar blocks, and you are able to place them together to create something that you want. We asked ourselves, why was visual programming important? And we said it makes programming easier and fun for beginners. It allows quick creation of animation games and applications, and it's used in schools, businesses, and even robots. We gave examples, and that one was Scratch, which helps students to make animation easy. Now, where do we see visual programming in daily life? We gave the places. You can see it in games, in mobile apps, in robotics, and in animations. So this is just a recap. Now, the types of visual programming is exactly what Anne from Qualify has told us. The block-based programming, the flowchart-based programming, the drag and drop programming. We'll be looking at them in details. Now, this is a Scratch interface. This is a Scratch interface. This is a Flogorithm interface, the flowchart-based programming. And this one is a drag and drop app builder interface. And here we use the MIT App Inventor. All right. I also asked you to look at some of the pictures and guess the type of the programming that this is. The students from the previous class, can anyone identify when you see this picture, what type of a programming could this be? Is it block-based? Is it flow chart programming? Or is it drag and drop app builder? I think we can answer this. Any hands up? Guess this application. Kinamba Comprehensive, were you in my previous class? You can try to guess this application. Morop Comprehensive, any guesses?
Just apply that answer.
So, Qualify, anyone who can tell us what kind of an application this is? All right. Now let me show you the previous pictures so that you are able to remember. Now this is the Scratch interface. You are looking at the Scratch interface. And we said that in Scratch, we are using blocks. I want kids to be familiar with what they are seeing on the screen, because we will not be able to build up on this strand if the foundation is not strong enough. I need you to get to a point where if we just look at the screen and see these kinds of blocks, you just know that this is block-based programming. Block, look at the blocks here. And an example of the block-based programming is the Scratch. So look at these things, they look like blocks, these ones. Block-based programming, they get the name from the way they look like. Remember, we are saying visual programming. From what we can see, we are seeing some sort of blocks. So this is block-based programming. Now next, flowchart-based programming. The flowchart, you need to be familiar now with the flowchart. I know those who have been doing sciences, there are flowcharts. Who eats who? There are some flowcharts there. So look at this. This is flowing from the top, flowing down to the bottom, to the side, flow. So if you just see this flow, if you look and see that the picture represented shows some kind of flow, some kind of flowing, then know this is flow chart-based programming. And a good example of flow chart-based programming is flowgorithm. Flowgorithm. Please don't forget that. Now, look at this interface. In this interface, we call this MIT App Inventor. We shall be looking at this. I'll be sharing the screen and we do some things about it. So when you are creating an app, this is your Android phone. You link your Android phone to this MIT App Inventor. So anything that you are working on the site, you can see it happening on your phone. So we are calling it the drag and drop app builder. It is a type of programming, and a good example is MIT App Inventor. Now, students, tell me, guess which kind of an application now this is. How does it look like out of the three that I have given you? Is it flowchart? Is it drag and drop? Or does it look like block-based programming? Let me have some hands up. Nuthu, from Nuthu. Nuthu Comprehensive. Unmute, please.
My name is Geba from Nuthu Comprehensive School.
Yes.
And that is block-based programming.
Wonderful. Perfect. So, kids, I want you, every time you see something represented like this looks like blocks. These are blocks. They have been, I'll be showing you the interface in a while. So this is block-based programming. And give me the example of okay, the example of the block-based programming, don't forget we have said it's Scratch. Scratch. Now, over to the other students. Guess this application. What kind of an application is this? What kind of programming is this? Or the programming that happens this way uses which application? Maritime Amos, tell us your school and then guess this answer. Maritime, I saw your hand up. Okay, let's go to Ibrahim Kebaso. Tell us your school and guess the application. Kindly unmute. Guitar Comprehensive. I can see your mic is unmuted. Tell us. Gitare Comprehensive, you are live. Let's hear you. Tell us your name and then guess the application.
My name is Naftali Israel, coming live from St. Joseph's, Greenwich. The programming is flowchart programming.
Yes, that's perfect. Thank you from Greenwich. This is flowchart programming. Let's move to the other one. Yeah, that's very good. That's very good. Let's move to the other one. I want another student to guess for us this application. Please put up your hand. Nudhu Comprehensive.
My name is Samuel from Nudu Comprehensive, and the application is drag and drop programming.
Wonderful. This is the drag and drop based programming. Khalifa, you have some insight also? Khalifa Comprehensive?
Okay, Mr. Bushnell, I'm Mr. Mwangi.
Yes, Mr. Mwangi.
My kids have not seen the displays.
So what you do, Mr. Mwangi, that could be due to system lag, internet system lag. So you can leave the meeting and join again. It will be able to refresh your device and you'll be able to see what I'm sharing.
Okay.
Yep, just leave the meeting and join again. It will clear that. So let's move on, students. We were doing some recap, which I feel was important because we are not here just to rush through the content. I'm not here to cover the content and then you guys are left behind. We need to move together. We need to understand what we are saying. And I know visual programming is not something that you can just brush off. It is something you need to have very good foundation because some of the students who are in this class, this could be an entry point for you in the programming career. So the students who are here, this could be an entry level for you. This is where you are going to start your career in programming. So if you don't love or understand this programming, you're going to have a lot of issues as you move on, and you may not have it. You may not select it as you move forward. Now, we have looked at this. What is visual programming? We've said where it is. We see it in daily life. I talked about games and all that. What types of visual programming applications? That's what we were looking at. And that was just part of the recap. Now, learning to program is like learning to solve problems creatively. That is something you need to have at the back of your mind. That every time you are sitting down on a computer and you are trying to program something, it is a solution you are looking for a particular problem. So learning to program is like learning to solve problems creatively. So there are many problems in this world that need to be solved. And it is you students who are the future generations who are going to work to program and to see how you can bring a solution to the current problems of mankind. So let me ask this question. This one is just to provoke your mind. Now that learning to program is like learning to solve problems creatively, I would like you to discuss in 2 minutes, students, what are some of the problems you think can be solved by programming? What are type of the problems that you think can be solved by programming? Even if you can tell us anything that has already been programmed and tell us now this one was programmed to solve this problem, it's okay. For instance, looking at whatever has been programmed can help you to think ahead of what else can be programmed. Let me give you a good example. In your phone, in this phone, we have the alarm. If you don't want to get late to school or to work or to a meeting, you just go and put on the alarm and key in the time. And what happens is that when the time for your meeting or waking up comes, then you're going to hear some sound from the phone and you're going to wake up. That's an alarm. That alarm was programmed by somebody. That alarm was programmed. Now, what problems do you think that person was trying to solve? So, if you look around, there are so many things that have been programmed. Someone was trying to solve a problem. So we are bringing the visual programming to you so that also there are many other issues that have not been dealt with, and you using the knowledge that you are now gaining from the pre-technical class, you can be able to come up with solutions to the problems that are ailing mankind. So I still have a question, a very quick one. What do you think can be programmed to solve what problem? Another comprehensive. You have an idea? Your hand is up. Any child with who is thinking, what can we program to solve what problem? I've said that the alarm that is in your phone was programmed so that it can help you to wake up early. You are not late for the meetings. You are able to keep time. Yes, Nuthu?
My name is Geba. I'm from Nudu Comprehensive School, and I think Facebook to solve communication.
All right. So it talks about Facebook, and there are many other messaging apps. The apps, remember, it is programming. We have messaging apps that are so many online, and they have been created, as Giva has said, to solve communication challenges. So, my students, as you undergo this programming lesson, at the back of your mind, think of the problems now that have not been solved and that can be solved using the knowledge you are gaining in this class. So think about those problems that have not been solved, but they can be solved if you are well equipped or well learned in terms of visual programming. Maritim, you have an input? Maritim Amos, please unmute.
St. Joseph. My name is Brank Piagon and I'm from St. Joseph Grandich. Problem solved by robots by programming to make work easier.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Kipiegon. That once we solve the problem, then the work becomes easier. I know you'll be giving me more and more contributions as I continue opening up to you what this visual programming is all about. Now we have around 7 minutes, and what I would like to do at this juncture is that I would like to show you, we in this lesson, we were supposed now to discuss features of visual programming applications. The features of visual programming applications. And to do that, we will need to dive into the platform itself, and then we start looking. But in a nutshell, maybe students, you can copy this in your books. Copy this in your books, features of programming applications, and then I give you the 7, which we shall now be looking at one by one. So kindly, with the help of your teachers, write this in your books. Features of visual programming applications. There are 7. Features of visual programming applications. So if the teacher can help by writing this on the blackboard so that you are left maybe looking at it and also writing it down, it will still be great. So features of visual programming applications. I want to believe you've written that. Features of visual programming applications. Kindly now write them. They are 1 to 7. And after that, we are going to look at, we are going to log into Scratch and start looking at these features, and we'll continue looking at them until we finish this substrand now. Features of visual programming applications. Features of visual programming applications. So the teacher can help me by writing this on the board. It will be left there even after the lesson. Now, one of the features is drag and drop interface. So you will be seeing some drag and dropping interface as we look at Scratch. Now, what is to drag and what is to drop? Any student in the room? You can tell us what you think dragging and dropping is. You can even tell us in Kiswahili. Aya, let's go to number 2. Blocks and categories. That's another feature that we shall see. Blocks and categories. The other feature we shall look at is immediate feedback. Immediate feedback, we shall identify what that means. Number 4, we shall look at interactive learning environment. That this visual programming offers an interactive learning environment. We shall be able to say that or to validate that after we have done the actual programming in the site. And then we have customization and creativity. One of the things we want to nurture in the students is creativity, critical thinking and creativity. We want you to have that aspect. So in the visual programming, we have customization, and there is a way also you can bring in your creativity to solve a problem. There is also this feature of cross-platform compatibility, that I can make an app and I actually install it on my phone and in another device. So there is that cross-platform compatibility. And then number 7, we have community and collaboration. So you'll be seeing the community and the collaboration aspect that I have spoken about once we start working in the Scratch site. So let me give you like 2 minutes to finish writing that. After that, we'll look at Scratch briefly, and then end our lesson. Now, let me believe that you have finished writing. Yes, Khalifa. Khalifa, please unmute. Khalifa Comprehensive, you have raised up your hand. Please unmute. Okay, so Qualify has not spoken. Maybe it was just a hi. Let's move on. Now, I want us now to, I'm going to unshare this screen and now share with you Scratch and also give you some take away because our time is up. So I'm going to stop sharing this. I hope we have all taken it. And now I want to share the Scratch interface. And I would like you to follow me closely because I want to start from the Scratch. We are looking at Scratch and we are starting from the Scratch. We are looking at Scratch and starting from the Scratch. Now, this is what I mean by starting from the Scratch. Qualify, your hand is up. Do you have an input before I move on? Right, let's move on. So as I said earlier, let's check that maybe the kids are not the ones turning on the mic. It keeps slowing us down. This is what I mean by saying we are doing Scratch and we are starting from the Scratch. We want now to go to the Scratch platform. What do we do? This is a new window. I've started a new window. So students who are familiar with the laptops and the tablets, you know what I mean now when I talk about window. Now you just come here to the search button and write Scratch. And as you start writing Scratch, if you are an active user of Scratch, you'll see it coming, popping down here. So just write Scratch. And this is what you're going to get. Come and take the second part here. Log on to Scratch, this one. Logging to Scratch. I already have a Scratch account. Now, if you do not have a Scratch account, you will need to create one. I have already created my Scratch account, so I was just logging in. So if you do not have, then let me see. I'm doing some signing out. If you do not have, let me start again. We've said come to create a new window. Come and write Scratch. And just search for Scratch. Once you search for Scratch, you get scratch.mit.edu. Come and click here. Now, if you do not have an account, you'll have to click join here. Join Scratch. If you don't have an account, click join. You'll be taken through the process of joining. You can do this with the help of your parent, guardian, if you will be at home, or with your teacher in school. Now, for me, I have an account. I just click sign in. This is my account. You put the username, the password, and then you click sign in. So teachers allow me to take like just 3 minutes to finish another 35. I know time is up. So this is the interface or the landing page. This is the landing page for Scratch. Now, when you look at this landing page, you'll see we have Scratch here, we have create, explore, ideas, about, and there's a lot of information for your reading that you can read about Scratch. All this information, I welcome you to read. But now our interest in this lesson is going to create. So you come and click create. So once you click create, the system is going to give you another interface, another page. Now, this is where we are going to concentrate our time on in our next lesson, This is where we are going to concentrate our time on. The blocks that I was talking to you about, you can now see them. These are the blocks, these ones. These are the blocks. These are blocks. And what the teacher is doing with the blocks, the teacher is dragging and dropping. Dragging and dropping. The teacher is dragging and the teacher is dropping. That is one of the feature of the block-based or the visual programming. One of the features that you have written there was dragging and dropping. Dragging and dropping. Dragging and dropping. What am I dragging and dropping? The blocks. So we call this block-based programming. A good example is the Scratch. So today we have learned about dragging and dropping, and we have known that these are called blocks. These ones, they are blocks. So we would like to look at each and every feature that we have spoken about there, and then we show you how it comes into play. And by the end of visual programming, you'll be able to program something to create a particular problem. So having said that, and because our time is up, I wish to request that I bring my lesson to an end, but I'm going to give an extended activity. to the students. I'm giving an extended activity to the students. Dear students, with the help of your parents or guardians, when you get home, if your parent has a laptop or something that you can use to access the net, create an account in Scratch. Create an account in Scratch. And then, after you have created the account, go and click on that create button and see whether you are able to drag and drop the blocks as I have just shown you. So that will be our extended activity. With the help of your parents or guardians back at home, if you are lucky enough to have the digital devices, create an account. You can also do this in school. The teacher can supply you with the DLP devices, which are still operational, connect them to the internet, and create accounts using the DLP devices. It is still possible. And then try to see whether you can drag and drop. So with that, I wish to bring the lesson to an end, unless there is anything from the students. Any student with a question, a concern, a compliment, a recommendation? It is your time now before we end the lesson. Any student? So my students, my classes are always lively. So when I hear you so silent, I don't know whether you have been scared by visual programming. I don't know. Nyaboke? Nyaboke, tell us something before we close.
I'm Mark from
Yes?
learned a lesson and I have enjoyed.
All right, yeah. At least I have some encouragement there. She has learned the lesson and she has enjoyed. Ibrahim Kebaso, let the students tell us about the lesson before we end. Ibrahim. Tell us the school and anything you want to tell us. Ibrahim is not speaking to us. Okay, Lucy Wangoye, I had seen your hand up. Do you still want to speak?
Melvin Mokiri from Kenamba Comprehensive School.
Yes.
I was saying the lesson was good and you have explained well and we could like you come again.
Thank you very much.
Thank
That is very much encouraging from that school. Thank you. So it's always good to Nuthu. Nuthu, we cannot close without letting you speak. Nuthu, comprehensive.
My name is Geba from Nodu Comprehensive School.
Yes.
And I have a question.
All right, go ahead.
Can you use Scratch in a smartphone?
Yes, it is possible. It only depends with the type of phone. There are some phones that are limited in size, so they are not able to access the site, but it is possible. So mine is to request you to try and do it. I have a smartphone here and I can use Scratch. I have another smartphone here and I can also use Scratch. It's possible because this is web-based. You can do it from the web.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, welcome very much. So with that, teachers, thank you very much for bringing the students and helping them to be very interactive in this lesson. Let us meet in our next lesson. That will be next week on Thursday at 9:50. And let's try to log in good time next week because we shall now look at the Scratch interface and we shall be defining some of the things we'll be seeing there, naming them. So when you are left out, then you'll have a hard time catching up. So ensure you come in good time, and then we spend quality time looking at Scratch. By the time we are ending this session, each one of us will be able to create an app using the Scratch. So God bless you so much. Do enjoy the rest of your lessons. Bye-bye.
Asikii, sasa hata ukisema thank you. So,